The story begins with a news broadcast showing a horrifying incident at the airport. Police reported that the incident was caused by humans infected with a mysterious virus. This virus makes its victims extremely aggressive and transforms them into zombie-like creatures.
People are ill. They have rights. And how?
For the past 2 months, the US government and the WHO have been trying to stop the pandemic. The military was deployed to eliminate the infected victims. However, all efforts have failed as the virus has already spread across the globe. The government has now urged citizens to stay at home until further notice.
The airport quarantine has been police fleeing the scene and National Guard soldiers are falling back.
With immediate effect. Do not try to.
In a nearby city that hadn't been affected by the outbreak, a young boy named Leo was watching his favorite cartoon. Suddenly, the broadcast was interrupted and replaced by national news about the rapidly spreading virus. Leo quickly went to find his mother, who was in the middle of packing their clothes to move to another city. Leo and his older sister Abigail approached their mother, who was on a video call with their father, a pilot. Since their father still had to fly, he asked them to leave first and head to a safe city. He promised to follow soon and to keep in touch with them regularly.
Don't you worry. You see, I'm wearing my lucky bracelet.
Not long after, they were startled by a loud noise coming from outside. Suspecting that the outbreak had already reached the city, their mother quickly packed their belongings and rushed the kids into the car. As she was loading the bags into the trunk, Abigail managed to survive by hiding under the car. However, her mother and Leo weren't as lucky. Both had already turned into zombies. Seeing Leo in his final moments, Abigail wanted to help, even though she knew it was too late. As she was about to leave, she accidentally made a sound, drawing the attention of her infected mother. A soldier named Cassius appeared just in time and saved Abigail by shooting her infected mother in the head. As they were about to leave, Leo, now fully turned, lunged at them. Cassius was forced to end Leo's suffering.
Okay.
10 years after the human population shrank to just 10%, Abigail had grown into a tough young woman, trained in shooting and combat by Cassius. The Earth was now overrun by millions of zombies. In addition to surviving constant zombie attacks, they also had to manage food supplies and deal with other survivors who showed no mercy. Like many nights before, Abigail and Cassius rested in the forest, using a tent secured with tripwires and bells as an alarm system. Sure enough, while they were fast asleep, the bells rang. Something had triggered the wire. Cassius quickly stepped outside to investigate. Cassius managed to shoot one of the zombies that had tried to attack their campsite. Realizing the area was no longer safe, Abigail and Cassius quickly took down the tent and prepared to leave, knowing there were likely more zombies lurking nearby. Their journey came to a halt when they heard gunshots, likely from another survivor. Upon checking, the sound was coming from a car in the valley below. Using the scope on his rifle, Cassius and Abigail saw a woman being attacked by a horde of zombies.
I can get it.
Intending to help, Abigail accidentally shot a man who was trying to escape. Worried, they quickly descended to check if he could still be saved, but it was too late. The man had been bitten and was on the verge of turning into a zombie. To prevent the infection from spreading, Cassius ended his life. As they were about to leave, several vehicles arrived. It turned out they were the dead man's companions. With guns drawn, one of them inspected the body and noticed the gunshot wound. They assumed Cassius and Abigail were robbers, especially since Cassius had taken the man's shoes. Lowering his weapon, Cassius calmly explained that it was all a misunderstanding and that they meant no harm.
You misunderstand.
Oh, we do, you little bitch.
Take it easy, man.
Put him down.
Take it easy.
Since neither side was willing to back down, a pregnant woman named Megan stepped out of the car to defuse the situation. When asked, Abigail explained that they were just survivors looking for a safe place. Moments later, dozens of zombies began descending the hill. Megan quickly urged everyone to leave before they were overrun. Outnumbered and running low on ammo, the group struggled to fend off the endless wave of zombies. Not wanting to take any chances, Cassius and Abigail decided to retreat, taking Megan with them. Her due date was fast approaching. During the journey, Cassius asked what Megan and her husband David were doing at that location. Megan explained that they were heading northeast to a place called Boat City, the only place still considered safe for survivors. In truth, they had been forced to make the trip because they had run out of supplies. After the tragic incident, Megan pleaded with Cassius to let them come along. Unfortunately, the car Cassius was driving broke down in the middle of the road. After introducing themselves properly, Cassius told everyone to quickly pack their things and continue on foot. It wasn't that he didn't care about Megan and her pregnancy, it was for the safety of the group. They had to find shelter before nightfall.
School. And the Jackson house is there.
They arrived at an abandoned building. Cassius and Abigail went in first to make sure it was safe. As night fell, Cassius set up tripwires with bells as an alarm system, just like they used when camping in the forest. Once everything was secure, Cassius showed Megan and David the fastest route to reach Boat City. Meanwhile, Cassius and Abigail wouldn't be joining them, as they still had another mission to complete.
No. Because we're the only survivors in the area.
That statement left David and Megan both confused and disappointed. They had assumed Cassius would come with them. But Cassius firmly explained that there's no place truly safe in this world. The only way to survive is to keep moving, staying ahead of the zombies, shifting from one place to another. Whether it's east, west, north, or south, as long as the undead still roam the earth, there's no real escape. You either fight or keep running, just like he always has. Abigail argued with Cassius, feeling he was being too extreme. She tried to persuade him to at least check out Boat City and escort Megan and David there, but Cassius firmly refused. In his eyes, there were no good people left in the world, and all the problems they faced were the result of Abigail's recklessness and her constant disregard for his warnings.
I'll be on watch.
While Abigail was on watch and Megan was asleep, David and Cassius began talking about their lives. David praised Cassius's skills in fighting off zombies and thanked him for saving them up to this point. Seeing the sincerity in David's eyes and considering Megan's advanced pregnancy, Cassius finally softened. He made the decision to escort them to their destination. The next morning, while Abigail was still upstairs after her night watch, she was startled by the sound of a zombie emerging from the bushes near the building. She quickly rushed downstairs to warn Cassius, just as the zombie appeared ready to attack. Soon after, the horde of zombies that had been chasing them from the valley finally reached the ghost town where Cassius and his group were resting. As one of the zombies entered the building, its foot brushed against the alarm wire Cassius had set up. It turned out that Cassius and the others had already continued their journey and heard the sound of an explosion in the distance. They quickly realized the zombie horde was now right behind them. Fortunately, the road they were on led toward the airport, so they decided to head there, hoping there might still be a plane they could use.
A vote. Who's for?
Along the way, they came across a parked car in front of an abandoned building. The driver was found dead with a gunshot wound to the head. Suspecting the man had taken his own life before the zombies got to him, Cassius instructed Abigail to check inside the building, just in case any zombies were still lurking within. After inspecting the building, Abigail found nothing except a few cans of ready-to-eat food. Before continuing their journey, Cassius checked the car's trunk and by chance discovered a wheelchair, something that could help Megan, who was beginning to grow exhausted.
I'm sorry you were arguing because of us.
They finally arrived at the airport. The place was eerily silent with no planes in sight. As Abigail scanned the area, a sudden realization struck her. This was the same airport where her father used to work. She immediately headed toward the hangar to check if her father's private plane was still there. Fortunately, inside the hangar, there was still an old aircraft, worn out and unable to start, but its body was intact and sturdy. They pushed it outside to begin repairs. Drawing on the experience from their 3-month college internship, David and Megan started working on the engine. Meanwhile, Cassius and Abigail scouted the surrounding area. Instead of patrolling, Cassius was relaxing in the control tower. From above, he spotted dozens of zombies running toward David and Megan, who were busy working on the plane. Cassius immediately rushed down to warn them, urging David to finish the repairs as quickly as possible.
What is it now? Are you okay?
No, we got 3 minutes!
They panicked when the zombies got too close and the plane still hadn't taken off, but at the last moment, Abigail managed to get it airborne. However, a new problem arose. The engine suddenly began to smoke and shut down. With this being her first time flying a plane, Abigail was at a loss for what to do.
For impact, okay?
Fortunately, they only suffered minor injuries, including Megan, whose pregnancy remained unharmed. Without wasting any time, they quickly left the area before the zombies could find them. After walking a few more meters, they arrived at an abandoned train station in a severely deteriorated condition. Since Boat City was still 2 days away on foot, they decided to rest there and regain their strength for the journey ahead. As night fell, while they were organizing their belongings, David quietly took the pistol Cassius had given him back at the airport. He walked to a secluded spot and pointed the gun at his own head. It turned out David had been bitten during the incident at the airport. Not wanting to become a burden to Megan or the others, he chose to end his life before the virus could take over. However, David ultimately couldn't go through with it. He remembered that he was about to become a father, and with that thought, he found the strength to keep going. After walking a few more meters, David suddenly stopped as his body grew weak and began to shiver, early signs that the virus was spreading. Still, he hid it to keep Megan from worrying, then urged the others to keep moving. Cassius, who had caught a glimpse of the wound on David's leg, quietly approached him without Abigail or Megan noticing. David admitted the truth about his condition and promised to help if things got worse. He begged Cassius to let him stay, so he could be with Megan in her final moments of pregnancy, and pleaded for him to keep everything a secret.
Have that choice for now.
Their journey came to a halt when they discovered a well-maintained house. Suddenly, lights flickered on and a voice over a speaker asked the purpose of their visit. Acting recklessly once again, Abigail stepped forward alone, requesting medicine for David, who was injured.
We just need a little help. We are travelers with a pregnant woman.
Once he was convinced they weren't a threat, the homeowner, an older man named Norton, finally opened the door. However, since Cassius and Abigail were heavily armed, Norton asked them to surrender their weapons first. Inside the house, they were warmly welcomed by Norton, who provided food, drinks, and even warm water for bathing. His background remained unclear, but it was obvious that he had a deep understanding of the chaos in the world. Unlike Cassius, who viewed the outbreak as an endless catastrophe, Norton saw it as the beginning of a grand evolution, one that would lead humanity toward immortality.
Cheers.
Cheers.
In the middle of the conversation, David appeared increasingly pale as the wound on his leg worsened. He excused himself to the bathroom to check on his condition, which was starting to feel strange as the zombie virus slowly spread throughout his body. Avid was shocked when he returned to find all his friends unconscious on the floor. Moments later, he collapsed as well, right after Norton revealed his invention, a device capable of detecting anyone infected by the virus, just like David.
What are you?
When they regained consciousness, they found themselves tied up in a basement. Norton appeared thrilled. He had finally secured volunteers for his twisted experiments. It wasn't clear what he planned to do, but one thing was certain. Their lives were in danger, as Norton intended to release his infected wife to hunt them down one by one. Fortunately, David, who hadn't fully turned yet, managed to foil Norton's insane plan and free the others. They quickly seized Norton's weapons and car keys, then escaped from that terrifying place as fast as they could. After escaping from Norton, they were once again confronted by the same zombies that had been chasing them since the day before. Cassius drove the car toward Boat City, their final destination, but the journey came to a halt when a fallen tree blocked the road. Aware that he was growing weaker, David begged Cassius to take Megan and leave him behind to face the zombies alone. With Megan's water having broken, Cassius carried her in his arms and ran with all his strength toward the shoreline. Abigail followed close behind, out of ammo as the zombies kept coming. Fortunately, survivors at the gate spotted them and managed to hold off the zombies, at least for now. And this was the fabled Boat City, a settlement built atop several large boats and ships. After a night filled with tension, Megan was immediately taken to a makeshift delivery room as her labor was imminent. Fortunately, Cassius and Abigail were warmly welcomed by the survivors in the city. They were promptly brought to meet the leader of Boat City, known by the locals as the Chief, for a brief introduction and to share their story.
Personally very happy for all the helping hands.
After waiting anxiously, Cassius received the news that Megan had successfully given birth. However, her condition was critical due to her weakened body. Before passing away, Megan asked Cassius to take care of her baby and expressed her hope that the child would survive in this harsh world.
You kept your promise. Please.
That afternoon, feeling bored, Abigail decided to take a walk around the harbor. She noticed a group of men arm wrestling, including a handsome young man we'll call Samsel. After chatting for quite a while, Samsel invited Abigail to a bar that evening. For the first time in her life, Abigail experienced a party and a lively atmosphere she had never known before. As she was about to head home, Abigail accidentally stumbled upon a suspicious-looking room. Inside, she spotted a device that looked like a trigger with an antenna. Samsel quickly put it back, explaining that the device was meant to be used only in extreme emergencies, though even he wasn't entirely sure what it actually did. He also revealed a secret tunnel that had long been prepared as an escape route in case zombies ever breached the city. Meanwhile, Norton had made up his mind to attack the boat city in pursuit of Cassius and the others. He brought along zombies he had tamed using a device of his own invention. As the guards let their guard down, Norton began to carry out his plan. Norton and his zombie horde successfully broke through and launched an attack on the city. Abigail instructed Samsel and the other guards to protect the secret tunnel route while she went off to find Cassius, who was busy rescuing the baby and assisting the overwhelmed defenders.
I'm out!
While Abigail was trying to rescue civilians from the zombie onslaught, Norton suddenly appeared and struck her down, leaving her unconscious. Cassius, witnessing the scene, immediately rushed over to help her. Seeing Cassius already weakened, Norton approached and beat him mercilessly, but Cassius rose up and fought back, eventually managing to destroy the zombie control device.
No. No.
No! No, no! He can't be, no!
The survivors gathered safely at the shoreline. Meanwhile, Cassius and Abigail were still on the ship heading toward the tunnel when suddenly a zombie grabbed Abigail, pulling her down. Cassius quickly attacked the creature. Abigail was stunned. It was her own father, confirmed by the bracelet and scattered family photos. With no time to grieve, they quickly entered the tunnel to catch up with the others.
Go, go, go!
Cassius fought against the zombie, who turned out to be Abigail's father. At first, Abigail couldn't bring herself to shoot, but when she saw Cassius cornered, she finally pulled the trigger on her own father to end his suffering. After everything was over, they began searching for a new place to live. Since the leader had died, they asked Cassius to take charge and help build a new civilization together. The film ends, but their adventure has only just begun. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any more exciting tales.